response. He said he does not have them here.
Yes. So, however, they do exist.
Come again.
I'm saying they do exist. You did.
Yes, to the first email, right? Fund transfer, please provide address where have been developed. My memory serves me well. It is not part of this bundle, all right? We did respond to this one.
Okay.
In terms of where ad hocs are deployed and whatever the case may be.
Okay,
Right.
that's fine. Please proceed with your statement. I'll ask my question later on. You had paragraph 5 of your statement. You were taking us through those annexes.
My statement, you said it's page 34. Oh, okay. All right. Yes, we were on paragraph 4. I think we've deliberated much on emails and communications detailing executive discussions. Number 2, email response to Nandule regarding his complaint that 13 requisitions were created without invoices. In this case, I made a follow-up with my team, and they responded to Director Nandule about these 13 requisitions, and they went as far as saying to me, in their view, they couldn't create these requisitions without attaching emails. As I wanted to know how this process works, they said they do not have a function that they use, that is used, right, to create purchase requisitions without emails. I mean, without invoices. But it is Director Nandule staff who have got that function on the subsystem. And they went further to say, when they inquired, later when they made a follow-up with Director Nandule's office, it came to light that those requisitions were eventually cancelled, right, on the system. But since I'm not familiar with the subsystem and what, you know, I relied much on what they are telling me, and I think they even said it is possible for the commission to verify that, maybe by going back to Director Nandule's and find out exactly the status quo as it stands right now. But further than that, I personally found it very difficult to talk to this, but the long and short of it is that my department responded to Director Nandule with an email in which they were talking to their language. I'm I'm not conversant with their administrative language in that space. And these things are, of course, functions that are, as we speak currently, performed within the environment of Director Nantwile. So I'm not hands-on when it comes to that, but from my office, right, I must put it on record before the Commission that invoices are submitted for further handling, of which further handling would include creation of purchase requisitions and POs going forward. But let me stop at that. I think I've explained based on information.
Director Malatji, we know even from the 2024 invoices that at some point on the 26th of February 2025, those invoices came to you and you stamped and signed them. And that was around the time when there was a dispute about non-payment of Gubis's 2024 invoices. So we do know from the evidence before us that at least on the 26th of February 2025, those disputed invoices came to you and you signed them.
Commissioner, if they came to me and I signed them, right? I don't think I signed them to close the query, right? By then, I'm not sure if that query was already in place. By the way, the Commissioner must please understand that part of my responsibility, right, is to make sure that as and when invoices are submitted, right, I do what I'm supposed to do, and I process them further to be handled at a later stage. So if those specific invoices, right, were brought to my office, right, and I've signed them, right, I want it to be on record, right. I did not sign them because I was closing any query, right. I was not aware, right, that there was these invoices that Director Nantwile has got an issue with.
Are you saying you just signed without verifying whether these services were properly procured with this explanation?
No, we're not. I'm not saying that, Commissioner. Every invoice that gets submitted to my office, right, we verify. We verify, and part of verification includes we want to make sure that sites allocated, sites for which the invoice is talking to, right, are sites that are allocated to the company, right? The risk mitigation process, because if I was just to sign, any service provider would take advantage that he has got a contract with the city and he can put even sites that are not part of his or her allocation for me to sign. So we verify before we submit.
I will ask the evidence leaders to put it up while you continue with your testimony. We may come back to it. It's on page 144 of file 3 of that Umashi Dlamini. Remember that Gubis invoice that was shared between Dlamini and Nkosi, and it has Director Malatji's signature and a stamp on the 26th of February 2025. So if it is available nearby, they can put it up on the screen. But for now, if Commissioner Balwa is finished with her question, then you can continue with what you were dealing with.
Let me just finish off my question. If you say you verify before you sign off, would you not then have picked up, or should you not have picked up that the services were, or the deployment was done by somebody who, in your previous evidence, you said didn't have authority. We know that Piri signed deployment letters, and your testimony previously was you never, firstly you said he's junior, he doesn't have the authority to do that, and you never gave him that authority. Your verification of invoices before you approve, would you not have picked that up?
I should mention that maybe when we talk signing of invoices, let us not confuse invoices for the main contract with invoices for ad hoc services, right? Let us not. So, if there are invoices for the main contract, right, verification is very easy. By the way, here we're talking about invoices in respect of sites, which sites were allocated to Kubis 85.
My question is about ad hoc services.
Okay,
That's
no,
a
it's fine.
discussion we had with Mr. Piri, where he signed all those deployment letters, authorizing Gubis, and I think Malatji or somebody, and Triotic, but I'm happy to limit it to Gubis because that's the company that became the subject of much discussion. So we know that Piri signed those deployment letters. Now, if you are responsible for signing off on invoices that come in, and you can say that you didn't sign them if you did not, but if you did sign invoices relating to those ad hoc services, my question is, would you not have picked up that, in fact, the person who authorized these services did not have the authority to do that?
Normally, Commissioner, this is how it works. In many instances, all ad hoc services which have been handled properly, as I explained earlier on, right? Normally, those invoices would not even end up with me having to sign. The mere fact that everything would have been done according to the book, right? At the end of the day, the service provider concerned would submit such invoices to the department concerned, not me, right? But the catch with Kubis, Malatji, and Triotic, Kubis was instructed by the Department of Water and Sanitation. Malatji and Triotic services were instructed by the Office of the Chief of Police, in bracket, Mr. Police, right? That is why such invoices, right, Malatji and Triotic, such invoices were supposed to be signed by me, because by virtue of the executive having instructed the deployment thereof, right? I had no, but those invoices had to be paid from my vote, the watchman services, right? Now, with the Kubis ones, right, since the matter, the matter was receiving attention from the executive, right? There was a point where a decision, if I understand the situation very well, or remember the situation very well. There was a point where the reason for them to be discussed at that level, right, was to make sure that at the end of the day, instead of having them serviced from the Department of Water and Sanitation, right, the executive would take a decision, right, get that money transferred into Watchman Vote account, and for those services to be paid. So, with me having signed them, after the executive has decided and got the money, right, I don't think there was anything wrong with that. Because already the executive has taken a decision. Already the executive, the chief of police, has requested for the 91 million, right? The CFO supported and the city manager approved. So the money got into my vote in order to what you call the process. I mean, in order to what you call the process, yes.
Thank you, Director.
Thank you. Director Malatji, I think what Commissioner Mali was getting at is what your answer was at your previous appearance, and your answer was to accept or concede that some of the invoices you signed without verifying that the services were rendered. That was your answer when you appeared, and you accepted that possibility, and the fact that as a result, payments would have been made on the basis of your signature. You recall that?
Yes, let me remind the Commission of what I have said. The question had something to do with, is there a possibility that some invoices could be signed without verification being done insofar as performance and what have you of services concerned? I said that is a possibility. The reason being, we have more than 500 sites, right, for which my monitoring team of less than 10 people, right, is deployed. Chances of them not covering the scope, right, might result with, come the end of the month, right, they were unable to come at site number 457, right? But it's month end, and we invoices are submitted. So that possibility is there.
So in short, you accept the correctness of what Mrs. Kakane is saying?
Yes, no. I agree.
That's fine. That should be enough.
Yes,
Mrs.
that's enough.
Kakane.
That's enough. Chair, and I think it addressed my concern was obviously you were saying that the discussions were happening at a higher level than you were involved, but I wanted to just highlight that your level is director, and you had that responsibility to ensure that services that are rendered are actually rendered. As a director, that's one of your jobs, or your level of accountability.
I agree. No, let me say this, Commissioner. My level as a director, all right, dictates, right, whatever you are saying about, but let the Commission not lose sight of the fact that, I've spoken at length about staffing problems. I've spoken at length, about many other shortcomings. Now, I think it is obvious that if I was treated accordingly, right, I should have participated Somebody should have invited me to participate, right, in these executive meetings. But let me not proceed with this, but I was never invited to participate. And at the end, whatever the executive decides upon, I accept, hence.
Mrs. Kakan, perhaps let's just do the statement all the way to the end and do the probing afterwards. Yeah, it's a very short one, only 4 pages, and yeah.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
The question after paragraph 6.
Okay. Question under paragraph 6, written response to Commissioner's piece, email letter to 12, who approved the ad hoc services? I did not immediately respond to email from Commissioner's piece. The reasons for my failure to respond immediately stated in paragraph 8 below, which are covered under response detailing your failure to immediately carry out instruction to cancel all ad hoc cuts, and the background explanation provided to Commissioner Spies, Bolehey's, detailing the initiation of ad hoc deployments. Regarding my failure not to cancel all ad hoc services, I did not carry out the instruction of Commissioner Spies immediately because of the following. The instruction was wide as it included cancellation of ad hoc services which were not affected. That's reason number one. Number two, the instruction was not directed to the initiator of the ad hoc services in question. The instruction was issued without observing the content of the standing operating procedure, acquisition of additional new services dated the 23rd of January 2023. I've attached the SOP marked Annex TS5. Commissioner Spies was aware of the SOP, yet he instructed termination of ad hoc services in respect of Kubi's Triotic Protection Services and Mahalahari Security. I later complied with this instruction by drafting letters of termination for his signature. He signed these letters. I personally called the company, served them with termination letters, and I have attached one of these termination letters marked A6. Now, there is something I want to add on to this paragraph. What I want to add on to this is another reason. On the 12th of March 2025, when Commissioner Spies gave me this instruction, I want this commission to note that Commissioner Spies, I want this commission to note that Commissioner Spies did not have legal authority to do so. I'm saying he did not have legal authority to do so because in terms of TMPD organizational structure in place, Commissioner Spies' position was not part of the structure. And with him not being part of the structure, there is no way in terms of the law that Commissioner Spies would give Director Malatji instructions, right? Yet he is well aware that he is not part of the structure. It's like anyone who says, I was supposed to carry out instructions from Commissioner Spies would then agree with me to say, when I walk out of this commission, I can meet someone, right, out there, and he said, I'm the deputy chief and I'm giving you instruction, go and do 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm saying in terms of the law, Commissioner Spies was not having any legal authority to do so, because legal authority in the city gets derived from approved organizational structure by council, not by individual senior managers within the city of Tshwane. By council. Approval by council gives effect to appointments and anything to do with the rendering of services within this. So he realized this. That is why when I say I later cancelled the 3, right? It was after June. There is a reason, Commissioner, why after June he came back to me to say cancel Mogalagadi, try to give it, because it was only after the 4th of June that Commissioner Spies was accommodated, right, on the structure of the TMPD. And that accommodation still was not via any resolution of council. That accommodation was not via any resolution by council, which then means, in my with my knowledge, right? After the approval, the said approval, even though it was not done via a resolution of council, right? That position should have been should have been advertised in state.
Let me interrupt you, because now you're talking about adverts. I just want to clarify that I understand what you're saying. At 12 March 2025, who did you report to?
In view of Spies, it was said, actually, he imposed himself on me, because nobody, not even the chief of police.
Okay, my answer doesn't need an explanation,
Okay.
honestly, Director. I've asked you a simple question. Who, at the 12th of March 2025, who did you report to?
I was supposed to report to the chief of police.
Who did you report to at the 12th of March 2025? I'm not asking you who were you supposed to.
There was no...
We know there was Ball Hayes at some point, so you were never reporting to the chief of police, because on the evidence, on the testimony that we have had, Ball Hayes, I think Deputy Commissioner, I think that's his position, Ball Hayes was overseeing APSS. And then at some point, he stopped, and Spies, Deputy Commissioner Spies becomes responsible for that. So keep that in mind when you answer my question. Okay. On the 12th of March 2025, who were you reporting to?
In terms of his presence, right? I reported to him, but
him being Spies.
I reported to Spies,
Yes.
right, by virtue of him being there.
I've said to you, I don't want you to give an explanation about structures and the politics and who did what, did not do what. I'm asking the simple question: who was your immediate superior that you reported to at the time? And you've answered. You've said you reported to Spies.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. Okay. I'm at point 11. I fully explained to Commissioner Paul Hayes the process on how ad hoc deployments work as it is contained in the city manager's SOP dated the 23rd. That's what I did. I further explained to Commissioner Paul Hayes that Gubi Solutions ad hoc services were initiated by the Department of Water and Sanitation without complying and or observing the SOP mentioned above. Can I proceed? After 12, formal suspension letter, the preceding notice inviting your presentations on the suspension, written response to, I have attached the requested documents marked as annexures T7, ST7, 8, and ST9 respectively. ST7. ST7, Commissioner, it's a letter addressed to me, notice of suspension pending allegation of misconduct, TP Malatji, in bracket, it's my pay number. Can I proceed? With reference to the notice of intention to suspend you, dated the 26th of June 2025, following allegations of misconduct, in that you failed to declare all directorships and financial interests to the municipality in terms of the Municipal Systems Act, Schedule 2 Code of Conduct for municipal staff members, the subsequent submission of representation by yourself, taking the seriousness
Director
of...
Malatji, I think you can skip that, it's fine.
Oh, we can skip
Yes,
that.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
ST8, notice of intention to suspend.
I think we can skip that as well, because
Okay.
you dealt at length with your suspension when you gave your testimony earlier.
Thank you. ST9, this was my representation to Commissioner Farrow. Representations against intended suspensions.
I think we can skip that too.
We can skip this one.
Yes.
Right. Let me go to just after point number 13, the correct advertisement for the position of Deputy Chief of Police, Asset Protection and Security Services. It is attached there as per ST10.
Is there any salient point we want to deal with here?
I think not much except to say, if the commissioner goes through this correspondence, the commissioner would realize that both Mr. Spees and myself are actually charged with one and the same responsibility.
We will decide that because, if I'm not mistaken, I think Commissioner Baloyi, when you testified earlier, took you through what his responsibilities are and what yours are. And Commissioner Baloyi was seeking to demonstrate that these are not necessarily the same. Yeah, Commissioner Baloyi confirms my recollection.
My recollection also, Director, is that You had attached the wrong, I think that's what you said. You had attached the wrong advert, and we were talking off that advert.
Okay,
And that's why you've given us page 44.
Exactly.
It's the correct one.
okay, yes.
Okay.
Now, hence, Commissioner, I'm saying, having attached a wrong one, today my testimony is putting it on record.
So
with the-
basically, you are now saying, or rather you are insisting that now that I have the correct advert, I am insisting that the duties are the same. So
Correct,
that's-
Commissioner,
That's
yes.
your point. Maybe Commissioner Baloyi will again take you through similar points as she did previously. I'm not pushing her to. Is there anything else?
Not at this time.
Is there anything else you?
No, not on this one. I'm just happy
Yes,
that I've
okay.
brought to the attention of the Commission what I wanted to bring respect of the two of us sharing one and the same responsibilities. Thank
Okay.
you, Commissioner.
And then there's the last point, which, at page 4.
Okay. Documents addressing funding request for 2025 period. Commissioner, I've attached here documents marked annexed T11 and 12.
Any salient points or issues you wish to raise with regard to these?
No, from where I am sitting, Commissioner, what I want to put on record is that the documents that I've attached here are evident enough to assist the Commission in determining who has requested funds and for what. And very specific, I want to say, I want to make this point that these documents, they are evidence, all right, which indicate explicitly, all right, who requested the 91 million rand, right, in order to pay the invoices that have been and are continuing to be a subject of my testimony before the Commission. Thank you.
In respect of ad hoc deployments?
Exactly. Exactly, Commissioner. Thanks.
Before we break for lunch, is that document ready to be displayed? Can you please display it so that maybe Director Malatji can respond to Commissioner Baloyi's question? Director Malatji, look to your left there.
Oh, okay.
Do you see that it's a Gubis invoice from June 2024 and it relates to ad hoc services?
Correct, I see.
And then on the 26th of February 2025, you stamped and signed it.
Yes,
You see
Commissioner.
that?
I see.
Yes, so the reason I wanted to refer you to this document is I don't agree with you that you were not aware that there were ad hoc services that were being rendered because you were approving invoices. And this do not even relate to the additional deployments in January and February. This is deployment that happened in 2024, and in relation to which, if you remember, there was the dispute because there were no purchase orders, and it was not clear who had authorized these deployments. But when it came to you, you stamped it and you signed it.
Are you ready to respond, or do you want to respond after lunch?
I think I can respond now.
Please do then.
This invoice was signed 26 February 2025. I think, even though it was dating back to 2024, right? There is evidence in my testimony. I made mention of the fact that invoices were in January, February, ad hoc invoices involving Gubis were already receiving attention, right, from different levels. But the directive, obviously, would be that they were receiving attention at the executive level, right? Hence, when this invoice was sent to me, right, I took it that since the discussion is about how such invoices would be disposed of, right? There was no, wrongdoing on my part in signing this invoice.
But did you know for certain that those services had been rendered? When you were signing and approving this invoice, did you know that Gubis had rendered those services? Director Malatji, did you know or did you not know?
Let me say I did not know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let us adjourn and resume at 2 p.m.